which one should we do today? Let's do the puppy one. Let's do the puppy. We got a request to review a large breed puppy. So let's do large breed puppy today. It's a Purina brand. It is Purina Pro Plan brand dog food development puppy large breed sensitive skin and stomach salmon and rice formula. So we got a request for this. I emailed the company. We got some information as far as exact numbers on the guaranteed analysis. And so we're going to play our favorite game. We're going to play the PSS Pet Food Scoring System game. We're going to do it today. We're going to see what it's all about for Purina Pro Plan. If you stick out to the end, you'll know the score. And the score means what? Absolutely nothing. But it's still a fun thing to do, and it keeps me on task. And, I get this food ADD, so, it makes me hit the high points with you guys. Keeps me honest. So we're gonna do that right now. If you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Dr. A. I'm a small animal general practitioner, and I mainly want to make sure that you guys are fully disclosed when you buy pet food. Honestly, I'm not recommending any particular pet food. Videos aren't sponsored. I go by your request, and so all I want to do is point out some of the marketing things and help you guys learn what you should be looking at, and then you guys make the decision. So I'm not trying to sway you either which way. I just want you to be fully disclosed. If you're fully disclosed and you make a decision, then that's up to you guys. So we're gonna get started. Purina Pro Plan brand dog food development puppy large breed sensitive skin and stomach. That's a mouthful. Okay, so as you can see here on Amazon, they've got a couple, you have to differentiate through. The one that was specifically requested for us today was this one here. It's a 35-pound bag, and it says right on there the large breed formula. I like the front of the package. It's straightforward. It's got a large breed on there, a beautiful German Shepherd. It says sensitive skin and stomach. What does that mean? It means absolutely nothing. It's just what they're naming the food. There is no specific legal, definition for that. So it honestly means nothing. Large breed formula does mean something because it means it is specifically for large breeds. Now, what I am not seeing here, are we picking the wrong one? Because we wanted a puppy. Oh, I picked the wrong one. You see how easy it is to pick the wrong one? We need to go one over. We want the one that is puppy because this is specifically about puppy. Same thing. It's got look like the same German Shepherd, maybe a younger version of it. But there we go. It says right on the front, large breed puppy, and that's what we wanted. The person wanted us to review the salmon and rice formula, so I want to make sure that I've got that because there's also a lamb and oat, and then they've got the regular salmon. So there you go. You got to be careful with the one that you select. So on the package, the front, very nice, nothing there. Not going to award any points on the pointing system because there's nothing. The front doesn't really tell us anything. The front is usually just mostly marketing. The back sometimes has the information that we need. A lot of the back is marketing too. They're talking about growth and development, which is great. They're talking about the antioxidants and all these things, DHAs, et cetera, et cetera. What we really want to focus on, though, is the parameters that we're, assigning points to, because those are the most important, I think. And if we're not going to be really devouring, our time by really getting really nitty gritty, I want to give you guys something just really easy to process, unless you really want to get into all that, and then you can go and you get a degree in nutrition and read all the text and do all that fun stuff. It involves a lot of math, so I'm going to forewarn you on that one. Okay, so the guaranteed analysis is listed here. It's minimums and maximums, and that's all well and good, but it doesn't really fit our purpose because we want to know exactly what's in there. We're seriously considering buying this food, right? So I emailed the company. They were very receptive, and they sent me the information. The other thing we need to know is we need to know how much metabolizable energy there is here on a dry matter basis, because in order to use the standards, which are on the small animal clinical nutrition text, it's got to be at least, or very close to no more than 4,000 metabolizable energy, because if it's more than that, we need to do a conversion. And there's nothing wrong with conversions, but we want to make sure we do them if we need to. It's easier if it's not. Most foods are not, so a lot of times we're fine there. And so I emailed them, and they gave me the information that I needed. All right, finally, we found it here. So it is 417 kcals per cup, and it is 3,800 kcals per kilogram. And so that's fine. We can use our standards for a large breed puppy, and we can, take our exacts and we can do the review. I'm going to stick on this website for a while. We'll go back to Amazon to get the price on it. But let's just go ahead and get to the guaranteed analysis. And so when you look, and you can just kind of see the difference here and why it's important to get with the company and kind of get the actual guaranteed analysis. Okay. We got minimums and maximums. So minimum 28, minimum 13 on the fat, maximum fiber 4.7, calcium 1.1, phosphorus 0.9. Those are minimums. Okay. When I emailed the company, in this particular case, the minimums and the maximums were exactly what the food is. So, hopefully the person that answered me understood what I was asking and gave me the correct information. But it looks like in this particular case, the minimum and the maximum actually is what the food is. So that's kind of nice that they were very exact on that. Now let's get the standards out here. And we're going to do specifically large breed puppies. So large breed puppies have their own energy requirements specifically for them. They grow very fast. If we give them too many minerals or inappropriate ratios of minerals, their bones grow too fast. They cause growing pains and inappropriate development. So we want a very specific ratio of the calcium and phosphorus. More is not better. Less is not better. It is a very specific sweet spot that we want to hit. So let's see if this hits the sweet spot. Okay, so we want protein between 20 and 32, and they are telling us that the protein is 28, so we are good. The calcium is 1.1, we want it between 0.7 and 1.2. Very good. The phosphorus is at 0.9, perfect. Let's see, what else haven't we done? The fat, where's fat? We want fat between 8 and 12. And fat is 13. So a little bit up on the fat, a little bit higher than the reference range on the fat. And then fiber, fiber is just kind of, you want it to be, in a puppy, doesn't really much matter. It can be pretty much anything as long as it's not excessive. They're saying that it's 4.75, that's fine. Usually it just needs to be less than 5. And so this is right on point on everything except for the fat. The fat is just a little smidge out of range. So I can't give them all 5 points for this. I can only give them 4 points, but that 1 point that they got docked really to me isn't as bad to be a little bit over fat on a puppy. I think puppies have a lot of energy. They'll burn it. I'm not worried about puppies being obese. I'm kind of okay that they're a little bit out of the reference range on fat versus if they had been out of the reference range on the protein, the calcium, and the phosphorus. So I'm actually okay with that. Now, down here, this is really important, this little asterisk that I put on this chart. What is the definition of a large breed puppy? There's a couple definitions floating out there, but usually a large breed puppy is going to be a puppy that when it is fully grown is expected to exceed 50 pounds. Some people will say expected to exceed 70 pounds. And so that is the definition of a large breed puppy. So if you have a dog, and you're like, oh, I don't know, are they going to be large or not? Usually you can look at the parents if you've purchased the puppy and you know what the stock, the salmon and the dam and the sire are. You can kind of get an idea. If you got it from the shelter, you really don't know. You have to work with your veterinarian on that, whether they think it's going to be, over that weight range or not. But that is the definition of a large breed puppy. So keep that in mind when you're trying to decide, do I need a large breed puppy formula or not? So 4 points on the guaranteed analysis. Pretty good there. Pretty good so far. Let's check out the AFCO statement because that's another important thing. So we got 2 points that we can give on the AFCO statement. So animal feeding test using AFCO procedures substantiate that ProPlan Puppy Large Breed Sensitive Skin and Stomach Salmon and Rice formula provides complete and balanced nutrition for all life stages, including the growth of large-sized dogs 70 pounds or more as an adult. So they get 2 points here. Now it is all life stages, which normally I harp on it and I'm like, oh, all life stages, we don't want that. This is actually fine for this because it's saying specifically it is all life stages, but it is all life stages including growth of large-sized dogs. So this is exactly what we want. So they did the feeding trials. The ever sought after, in my opinion, feeding trials were done on this food. Good for you. You get the point. 2 points for you guys on the AFCO statement. Let's go to the ingredient list, which I'm pretty sure is going to be fine because they are not saying that it is grain-free or raw anywhere in the package. And usually because grain-free and raw are marketing, if they are grain-free or raw, it's like all over the place because that's the only reason why you would do that is marketing. There is no nutritional benefit to that. And so that's kind of how you know that it's marketing, is this is just slammed everywhere on the package. So let's see the ingredients here. You can download the full ingredients on PDF, and then they've got this little neat link here where it says see why all the sources of ingredients are important and how they source them. Every ingredient has a purpose. So let's see if we can. Salmon, first ingredient: rice, barley, fish meal, canola, dried yeast, beef fat, salmon meal. Yep, we've got our rice and we've got our protein, so that's awesome. It is also, just kind of to point out here, it says that it is a salmon formula. You can see that just means that kind of like the main thing is salmon. There is other stuff in here, so it also has beef in here, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So they get 2 points for the ingredient list. This is going smashing. So puppies and growing dogs have obviously higher energy requirements than adult dogs that are like sloths, a lot of them. All right, so if you so the resting energy requirement is always the same. It's the same for the dog, it's the same for the cat. What makes the difference is the multipliers. And so over here you can see that we're going to take for a growing animal, and we're going to break it into 2 things. If it's up to 4 months, you need to do 3 times the resting energy requirement. If it's 4 months or older, you're going to do the 2 times energy requirement. And so we're going to just take a round number. We're going to say our dog, because it's a large breed, up to 4 months old. Actually, let's see what it lists on the package, and then we'll decide how we're going to. Yeah, so they break it down here into months as well, so that's really nice. Now up here it says 1 to 2 years. I don't think you should be feeding a large breed puppy to a 1 to 2 year old dog, with a few exceptions. So if you're having a large, a dog that's pregnant or lactating, you could feed this, so it could feasibly be 1 to 2 years old. But in general, we're going to hang out over here on this, on this weight chart. The way that they're listing this is a little bit confusing. They're not actually telling you, like, putting your dog's weight. They're just assuming the weight at maturity. I mean, how are you going to know if you get your dog from an animal shelter? Like, there's no way to know. So I don't like this. I'm not going to give them any points for this, because it makes it like almost impossible. Now, in general, I'll say this, and my practice people always ask me, well, what do I feed? How much do I feed my puppy? And it's really hard to overfeed a puppy, so I usually tell people, look, just, feed what's on the package, and we can adjust from there. And I guess we're gonna have to do this for this one as well. So we're not gonna be able to give any points for the feeding recommendations, because they're just kind of weird and really can't calculate. So if you're a numbers person, that's gonna drive you nuts. It's kind of driving me nuts right now. All right, so let's kind of recap the high points. So we got 2 points for the AFCO statement, which never happened, so that's awesome. We got 4 points for the guaranteed analysis, because we were a little bit off on the fat, but that's really no biggie to me. So you have 6 points right there. 2 points for the ingredient list, 8 points there. We lost a point on the feeding guide because it was just really hard to follow. But again, it's not that big of a deal either. So total negative 2 points. And so, but they're 2 points that are just not really that important. I really do. I think I like this one. I'm gonna put this one on the Amazon storefront. So if you guys don't know, if a food meets the mark, I'm gonna put it in my Amazon storefront, and it's linked down below. I think this one's gonna go in there. I do like it. I would recommend this if someone came into me and said, what's a good, I want a good, easy to find, I can go to the, Tractor Supply or something and find food for my large breed puppy, I think I would definitely say you can pick this off the shelf. This would be a good one. Cost wise, so let's see what we're, seeing cost, because a large breed puppy, they're gonna eat a lot. So we want to make sure that we can afford it. Let's see, so a 16-pound bag is $52. $52.98. We don't need to do the calculation. It's telling us already there what it is. It's $3.31 a pound. So I don't give any points for cost, because it's really individual. Everybody's budget is personal. And so there you have it, $3.31 a pound. So if that's doable for you, I think this is a really good food. I don't think you can necessarily go wrong with it, as long as your pet's doing well with it and digestion. As far as when do you transition off of a puppy food, people ask me this all the time. It really depends on the breed, to be quite honest. So large breed dogs specifically, because we're talking about large breed, they age faster, right? And so I usually will transition most dogs off of a puppy food at around 9 months. The reason why I do that is because that's when the growth plates biologically close. So the growth is stopping, at least the growth in the skeletal system is stopping at about 9 months. And so that's when I will start saying, let's transition. We're not going to cold turkey it. We're going to start transitioning onto adult. And then by the time they're like a year old, we'll be fully on the adult, the adult formula. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I thought that was kind of fun. We're going to give this a score of 8. What does a score mean? Nothing. Really doesn't mean nothing in this case, because I really do like this food and I would definitely recommend it. So if you're feeding this food, good for you. If you're considering trying it, leave me a comment below. Also, like, what do you guys think of the scoring system? Is it just kind of funny? It just keeps me on task, honestly, because if not, I'm all over the place. You can see I already kind of deviated. I'm deviating right now, actually. So anyway, if you like to hang out with me and listen to this inner monologue, you can like and subscribe. That would really help me out. Lets me guys know that you enjoy these things and that, I'm not wasting my time here. Anyway, hang out with me again in the future, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.